classroom waiting for the midday meal to be served. Milk is part of that meal. And on that day, what was served was a bucket filled largely with water with a small quantity of milk mixed into it. A video of this moment was recorded and it went viral. And this brings us to today's story, a story from the Mahoba district of Uttar Pradesh. According to newspaper reports and the video that went viral, 1 liter of milk was mixed into a bucket of water and served to students under the midday meal scheme. Administrative action followed after the video surfaced, but the story is not only about what happened in one school. It is also about why the midday meal scheme exists in the first place. The scheme was introduced by the government of India in 1995, at a time when poverty, hunger, and school dropouts were closely linked. The logic was simple. If families could not provide food, children would stop going to school and start working at tea stalls, small shops, farms, basically wherever work was available. All of us know one chotu at a chai ki tapri or a dhaba. The midday meal was meant to reduce that, to ensure that more children stayed in school instead of entering work early. And to a large extent, school attendance did improve. That is why the irony here cuts deep. A program meant to reduce hunger and stop dropout keeps appearing in the news for the wrong reasons. The Mahoba incident is not the first of its kind. Over the years, newspapers have reported cases where children were served rotis with only salt, meals without vegetables, food not cooked properly, or food that never reached students at all. These are reported incidents, and at the same time, something else was unfolding elsewhere in the country. Reports came out about coliform bacteria being found in samples of packaged milk based on a private laboratory testing. What followed was familiar: social media frenzy, memes, dramatic visuals, enlarged bacteria images. In a world already stressed and anxious, we were clearly looking for a punching bag, and milk became an easy target. But before dramatizing and scaring people, it is worth asking what happens next. Who gets blamed, who gets dragged, and who quietly slips out of the frame? What experts actually said was pretty straightforward. Coliform bacteria indicates hygiene issues. However, contamination does not only happen during packaging. It can also happen during transportation, during storage, or even when the cold chain is not maintained properly. This does not make large milk producers innocent, but it also raises a bigger question. When transport permits, cold storage, and monitoring fall under the government oversight, why does the entire conversation stop at brands alone? In the social media frenzy, several actors quietly slip behind the curtains. And right here, Mahoba comes back into the focus. While the internet was busy connecting the dots, the village had already moved on. There was no press conference, no explanation, just a bucket, a classroom, and a video. And now comes the sarcastic mystery. What if the teachers already knew? What if they had better information than the rest of us? Unsafe milk, bacteria, adulteration, alerts already received. After all, intelligence failures are not new in this country. They happen at the highest levels. They happen in Delhi, in Pulwama, in air-conditioned offices filled with data, dashboards, and briefings. So maybe this time intelligence did not fail at the bottom. Maybe it worked only at the bottom. Maybe the staff room was the real intelligence network. Maybe the alerts reached there first. Maybe Mahoba cracked the code before Ajit Doval's office did. So dilution was not corruption. It was planning, you see. 1 liter milk, 1 bucket of water, quality control achieved. Damage control at its best. And I must applaud the teachers here. No chest thumping, no press conference, no claiming credit, no asking for votes in the name of a successful operation. A clean, silent, covert operation exposed only because someone pressed record on their phones. But here is where the joke turns uncomfortable. Teachers are supposed to teach children what is right and what is wrong. That is their role. And look at how far we have come from a time when students cut their thumb to offer Guru Dakshina to a time when gurus are pushed into dark corners of a scandal and suspicion. And honestly, this is unfair. If operations can fetch applause elsewhere, why are teachers not being celebrated here? And while all this noise was happening, notice who actually took the hit. A poor worker caught on camera. She paid the price. But a bigger question remains unanswered. Why did the local administration wait for a video to surface? Where were routine inspections? Where was the monitoring? And why does action arrive only after public embarrassment? Now zoom out and look at the numbers. India may be slipping on many global indices. Happiness, press freedom, freedom of speech, and the list is endless here. But there is one number we hold on to very proudly. We are the most populous country in the world. We call it our strength, we call it our demographic advantage. But that number grows up in villages, in government schools, in classrooms where midday meals are sometimes the only reason children attend at all. That is why Mahoba is not a small story and it is not a standalone incident. Almost every few days there are reports about midday meals, missing food, poor quality, food not cooked properly. Only the location changes but the problem remains. Put together, the Mahoba incident and the milk safety scare tell us quite a few things about the governance, about schools, and about accountability in a time where social media decides the direction of outrage. So the question is not just about milk. The question is simple and hard. Why does the system wake up only when a camera is already rolling?